Hi everyone. So this video is a little different. I guess you would call it a reaction video still, but it's John Fogerty being interviewed by Bill Maher on Club Random Podcast. And I love John Fogerty, of course, huge fan of Creedence Clearwater Revival. I have all of their albums. I didn't really follow John's solo career as much, but still, I think he's one of the true rock and roll greats. And and I have seen other Bill Maher interviews off and on, bits of them. And I guess in the past I did kind of like him and found him entertaining, sometimes funny. I didn't always agree with his opinion, of course. But having John Fogerty on for almost 2 hours, I was ready, to enjoy and find out more about John's, his history. I know quite a bit of it, but, you never know, you might learn a bit more. But the thing is, with Bill Maher, and it's similar with other, especially these days, it's not like the good old days. For those that remember, like the Mike Douglas show in the 70s or Merv Griffin, even Johnny Carson. You'd have a guest on, you'd interview them, and you would let them talk. You would ask them a question, and then you would shut up and let them answer it. And it would go back and forth like that, very nicely. But this isn't the case. And what I was going to do, I was going to play quite a bit of this and, react to it, but I don't think I'm going to play very much of it because there's no point. What I do want to do though, is read the comments. And the other thing is, another one that's bad for this, for interviewing, is Howard Stern. I actually really like Howard Stern. I used to listen to his radio show back, years ago. But his interviewing skills are not the best. He, like Bill Maher, he interrupts. He asks a question, the person responds, and he ends up interrupting them. And I will say this too. I'm guilty of it too. In past videos with my girlfriend Molly, it would be exciting to have, especially a few years back, it would be exciting to have my girlfriend on with me. And I noticed, you get so excited, you kind of, you overtalk, you don't let her speak enough. And so, like I said, I'm guilty of it myself. But when you're a professional, or supposed professional with years of interviewing people, and especially reading comments. I've read comments like this from his channel a few months back, and I guess he's not reading them. So I'll play a little bit here.
Like as a kid, when I was worshiping all those singles coming on the radio, my little tinny radio that you did this kind of songs the Beatles used to say, like, has to sound good even on a shitty radio. And all your songs were in that category.
Well, thank you for that. I actually tried to make the songs so they would sound good in a car, and that was
even harder.
Well, my yeah.
I know him not really well, but pretty well, and talented.
Like I've only watched, I think, about 40 minutes of this, and I gave up. I do want to watch more of it though, even though it's annoying. But there's times when John's telling a story, and I'm interested in hearing it, and he does not get to finish it.
Great music, and I can hear it immediately, but I couldn't tell it to somebody.
You just said it. It sucks.
I know. It's like you can't say, like, we all know what like a supermodel looks like. And we know what a very, there's no ugly people in the world. Let me get that out very
Oh
clear.
boy, PC.
I'm like, okay, so describe it between like a supermodel and some other woman who's attractive but just not a supermodel. You can't put it into words. They're, it's not like
Well,
one.
you can, but that may not
Go ahead.
translate. You're
Like, what was
you're
the
so funny because when I was around 11 or
So here he is telling a story.
12, my brother Tom, who was older than me, and he'd been with a couple of different bands that he knew. He was in another orbit.
So
because he
Tom
was
is older than you.
Yeah, about 4 years older.
So you're like this mother's brothers.
See, right there, he didn't let him, ended up not telling that story that I was interested in hearing. He goes on about the Smothers Brothers and...
where the younger one was the leader.
Oh my God, you've just opened a whole
Right? You know
can
the
of
Smothers
worms.
Brothers?
Yeah, of course.
He just died. I know him.
Tom, yeah.
I know him not really well, but pretty well.
And I don't know, it's just like it goes back to him. I knew him pretty well. Like, I understand there's egos involved in everything, right? Everybody's got a bit of an ego. But you got the great John Fogerty on. Ask him a question and let him answer it and shut up. But this goes on. Like, and then at one point, they're talking about the Beatles, and it's about, the history of rock, and it's almost like Bill is kind of almost disagreeing with John about the Beatles and the Rolling Stones, and then at one point Bill's saying, I'm the biggest Beatles fan, and then he's talking about all these Beatles songs he doesn't like Love Me Do and Honey Don't. It's like, I love those songs. I love all the Beatles songs. I'm a bigger fan, Bill, than you are of the Beatles, and so are many, many others. So it just, and like I said, I'm going to read some of the comments.
I understand he's very successful in this quest he has to overturn the government, but there's never any. I'm pretty sure I read that. I think including smoking, which like.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. I had to zbiotics.com.
As you can see, like Bill's doing like 75% of the talking, right? And it should be the guest doing most of the talking. And he's also, I know sometimes, he's drinking there and sometimes he's smoking pot. I don't know if he is here or not, but.
.com/random and use the code RANDOM at
Commercial.
With Nehru jackets on, right?
Being an adult like me, super adult like you, that's that.
I was fortunate enough to be invited to, even though that first album was a lot of blues,
Oh, yeah.
Get over. And then suddenly they do something really magnificent and you go,
They raised, yeah.
whoa, did they dare to do that? And you realize that that's where they are.
Well, Cosmos, is one of those albums.
Had Beatles songs. I don't think there's that many. It sort of got reversed.
They were children when
it got pulled
wrote
along
it.
because of what happened later.
I mean, just the lyrics are embarrassing because you're a child. I don't want to listen to children's music, especially when they made 250 better songs. But
you would probably say that about Do You Want to Know a Secret?
No, that's not the greatest, but.
Yeah, so just, it started getting me upset, like.
69 until someone me said, wow, they're advertising out. I think that was
Liquid Death's Mountain Wall
was the
become fewer because you've seen more, because the dark is somewhat less.
But anyway, getting to the comments. Yeah, I put this just in the last hour. So maddening. It would be nice to hear John talk and finish a story. I'm going to do a reaction video to this on my channel tomorrow. Please drop by and leave your thoughts. So here's some. Bill should interview himself and see who gets a word in edgewise. If Bill would just listen, this would be a great opportunity to hear John tell stories you'll never hear again. Blowing it. Please let Fogerty talk. Bill arguing musicianship and songwriting with John Fogerty is hilarious. Exactly. I wanted to hear John. A very frustrating interview. Fogerty is so patient and gracious. Exactly the way you're supposed to interview someone. Let them talk and talk and talk. Good job, Fogerty. Several times I found myself saying, "Welp, guess we'll never know the rest of that story." Holy shit, Bill. Learn to shut up. But, these comments go on and on. Wow, I had to stop watching when Bill started his lecturing on rock and roll history to a legend who was there. Bill, go to your room. You were rude to John Fogerty, the nicest guy on the planet, and you're a fan. Bill, please let your guest finish a sentence, finish a thought. Yeah, Bill doesn't listen. Fogerty says his wife makes his shirts, and he gave Bill one of the shirts that his wife makes, the plaid shirts. And Bill should have been impressed, but he didn't say anything about his wife making the shirts. John Fogerty for almost 2 hours, and what did we learn? Bill Maher has a great playlist on his iPod. Bill, please let your guests finish their sentences. 70% of this is Bill talking at John. Now, I could go on for the next hour reading these comments, but as you can see, and you think, somebody would let Bill know, hey, Bill, tone it down a bit. And it's just sad. I haven't even read all of these. Oh my God, Bill, quit talking over your guest. Yeah, it's not like the first time. I've seen other videos where it's just very annoying. And I'm not saying Bill is the only one. It's just the way it seems to be these days. Have a legend like Mr. Fogerty on and then talk all over him. So great to watch Bill teach John about music. Yeah, that's about it. Yeah, when Bill starts with, there is not a bigger Beatles fan than me. Bill, shut up. So that's it. Yeah, I could go on for the next hour about it and get more riled up. But I would love your thoughts on this. And maybe let me know of other interviewers that, these talk shows, there's some good ones. And they actually listen, they ask questions and they listen, but it's kind of rare these days. So thank you for watching. Please remember to like the video, leave a comment below, and please subscribe. Bye.